Kia ora, good evening. Welcome to 3 News. The March 15 terrorist has told the Court of Appeal his mental health deteriorated in prison, and one of his major stressors was that he wasn't given enough books to read. Brenton Tarrant is trying to vacate his guilty pleas because of what he calls inhumane and torturous prison conditions. And we do warn you that this story contains part of his testimony via video link from Auckland prison today. The court also heard the terrorist once expressed remorse for the attack, but he says that was only because of his irrational mind at the time, which was induced by prison. Senior reporter Juliet Speedy was in court and filed this story.
While a relaxed-looking terrorist beamed into Appeal Court Number 1, it was the victims and families arriving at court in both Wellington and Christchurch that were front of mind.
Before we get underway, firstly and very importantly, I would like to acknowledge the presence of victims and families who are watching this hearing remotely in Wellington and Christchurch.
The terrorist was called to give evidence via video link from his Auckland prison wearing a business shirt.
I'll now call on Counsel A to call the first witness.
Okay. Do you solemnly and sincerely affirm and declare that the evidence you are about to give touching the matter before the court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
He appeared relaxed and prepared.
No, I did not intend to have legal representation.
He's in the same prison he now says caused him an irrational mind, which led him to plead guilty.
You met your lawyers many times between March 2019 and July 2020.
Is that a question?
Yes.
Many times, quite a few times, sure.
He gave evidence for almost 3 hours. The court allows us to show only the first 5 minutes of it.
There are times that they might have been less than that. Do you accept that?
I won't accept the 2-hour increments because the phone calls obviously were not for 2 hours long on average. They were much less than that.
The Australian mass murderer, now aged 35, killed 51 worshippers and injured 40 others on March 15, 2019. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. He now wants to vacate those pleas, which, if successful, would mean a full retrial. He's also appealing his life sentence. The terrorist appeared confident, articulate and assured of his views of what he called his irrational mind at the time of his guilty pleas, a year after the attacks. He sometimes sniggered and laughed during his evidence and pushed back on many questions and assertions by Crown lawyer Barnaby Hawes. He told the court it would have been a better option to go to trial and defend himself, that he pleaded guilty only due to prison conditions inducing irrationality. An example was not enough books to read, and that the 2 or 3 he did read a week were abysmal quality, saying, quote, "It was by far one of the biggest issues, really bad for my mental health to say the least." He also told the court the correction staff played games, for example, pretending not to hear him. The terrorist said he once made jokes that he could say there was a second shooter on March 15, saying someone like Donald J. Trump. He twice referred to a political movement he was part of. And he confirmed that in 2020 he expressed remorse for the attack, but now says that was his irrational mind talking. The terrorist is housed in the Specialist Prisoners of Extreme Risk unit at Auckland Prison and has little interaction with other people, including fellow prisoners. Crown lawyer Barnaby Hawes pointed out that his claims of poor mental health and an irrational mind were not backed up in any reports from psychologists, his lawyers or corrections staff. The hearing is set down for a week. For the families, the proceedings were hard to watch.
Quite frankly, I think for him it's a bit of a game. I don't seem to see any change in character over the years at all.
He's trying to play with all of us. And this is it's just a waste of our time and waste of taxpayers' money.
In 1 month, it will be 7 years since the attack that sent ripples around the world and devastated so many lives. An attack by a man who now says his guilty pleas were in part affected by being alone for so long and not having enough books to read.
Juliet joins us now from the Court of Appeal. Juliet, what else are we expecting to hear this week?
Well, Sam, the first 3 days will involve witness testimony, and that includes today, and that will also involve hearing from some of the terrorists' former lawyers. The final 2 days, we're told, will be lawyers' submissions from both sides of the case to the panel of 3 judges, and then things are expected to wrap up here on Friday. But Sam, I want to end on another comment from one of the family members we spoke with outside court today, Sarah Cassim, who you saw in my story there, who lost her beloved father on March 15. She said, with the hearing in place this week, it's very important that all the airtime doesn't go to the terrorist, and that the care and thoughts must remain with the victims and the many, many people impacted by March 15. For those families and support people and others, that pain will never ever go away, and this week is certainly not helping that.
Juliet, thanks so much.